Welcome to the online classes Environmental Pollution Part 5. Today's topic for the discussion is solid waste management. Solid waste management. So what is solid waste management? It is a method of collecting, transporting, processing and disposing and monitoring the waste material. So generally it relates to the materials produced by human activity and is generally undertaken to reduce their impact on health and environment. So the main objective of the solid waste management is to reduce the bad impact on the human health and environment. This is called as the solid waste management. So how the waste is categorized? The waste materials are categorized depending on its physical appearance. So the first one is a liquid waste, second one is called as a solid waste, and third one is a gaseous waste. The liquid waste is already discussed under the water chemistry chapter. It's nothing but an industrial effluent, a wastewater from the industry, and sewage means domestic sewage, the waste from the cities and hospitals, etc. And moving on to the second one, the solid waste. Solid waste is classified into five groups: a municipal solid waste, plastic waste, biomedical waste, hazardous waste, and e-waste. So in this we will be learning few things today. And the third one is a gaseous, the one which is in a gaseous form. This is already discussed in the beginning classes, like air pollutants, primary and secondary air pollutants, oxides of nitrogen, oxides of carbon, oxides of sulfur, etc. Collectively they are called as a gaseous pollutants. So moving on to the other type of classification, which is based on the properties. Based on the properties, the solid waste is categorized as biodegradable and non-biodegradable. So biodegradable waste is the one which undergo degradation easily in presence of a soil microorganism, and it is called as a aerobic oxidation. For example, a paper, wood, fruit and all such material carbohydrates, such materials easily oxidizes to the eco-friendly compounds like carbon dioxide, water and biomass. There are other set of substances like plastic, bottle, metal, old machine, cans and metallic furniture, styrofoam. All these cannot be degraded easily. Such type of things we call it as a non-biodegradable waste. So to carry this waste and to process and to manage, so certain properties should be kept in mind, that is called as the characteristics of the waste. So before moving on to the characteristics of the waste, this is information, it's not a part of your syllabus. See, if a family is consisting of 3 to 4 members, each person can account for 200 to 600 gram of waste each day. So like this, India produces more than 42 million tons of municipal solid waste every year. So that means every day a person can contribute minimum 200 gram, maximum 600 gram. If a family is having say 3 members, generally 800 gram to 1 kg of waste will be generated. So like this, it will account for 42 million tons of the waste every year in India. This is a scenario. So to transport and process and not to have a bad impact on the environment means certain properties should be studied, that is called as physical and chemical properties of the solid waste. The physical characteristics are very much needed, are very much required for the transportation and of the waste from one place to the dumping site. So the first parameter and the physical characteristic is the density. All of us aware that the definition of the density is mass per unit volume. That means how much of waste can be filled in 1 meter area, or how much of waste can be filled in 100-meter area. That's called as a density. So why we need to keep this point in our mind means, so it is helpful in designing the scientific landfilling site, as well as how much of load can be filled in a truck to transport from one place to another. Transportation of the waste. To transport this, the amount of amount of the solid waste that can be filled in a truck. For that thing, the density plays a very important role. Second one, the moisture content. The moisture content means amount of water that is present in a total weight of the wet waste. So weight of the water to the total weight of the wet waste is called as a moisture content. It's a very important point to be kept in mind. If the moisture content is high, then very less volume of the waste can be filled in a truck. It cannot carry the huge load. Also, there will be wastage of the fuel. As a result, the transportation expenses will increase. So, if the solid waste contain a very high amount of the moisture, it is compulsory to dry this, make it dry, then only fill into the truck and transport to the other places so that huge volume of the solid waste can be transported. Otherwise, the transportation expenses will increase. And the last one, it is size distribution. It is required to segregate the solid waste into reusable and recyclable substances. So based on this, what are the substances available in the solid waste, the different size mesh or sieve can be used so that all the recyclable or reusable materials can be segregated, like metallic means screws, nuts, bolts, of smaller size or bigger metal sheets, and recycling materials like textile, fabric, all such things can be separated depending on the different type of sieves. So these are the physical characteristics. And moving on to the second one, chemical characteristics. This is very important for energy technologies. So chemical characteristics of the solid waste is very important for the energy technologies. All of us aware that the waste is of two types. One is called as a dry waste, other one is called as a wet waste. So in the wet waste, it can be the kitchen waste, that is vegetable peels, fruits, peels of fruits and rancid oils or food items and all such things, and even garden waste. All these comes under the wet waste. So this should be segregated. The wet waste should be segregated, and it can be sent to the particular place for the further processing. For that, the chemical characteristics are very helpful. So substances like lipids which are present in the wet waste. That means lipids means any oily substance. Any oily substance we call it as a lipid. What are these oily substances? Means if the oil is stored, edible oil, it is kept for a very long time without using, then it will give a foul smell. That is called as a rancid oil. The rancid oil can't be used. It is not edible anymore. Such things we are throwing it out. And also greases or ghee, if it is not used for a long many more years, and it can be thrown. So and fats, these things will have a high calories of energy like 38,000 kilojoules per kg. So this can be used for the energy technologies. Also, this rancid oil, fat substance or grease substances, it can be used as a raw material in the production of the biodiesel. And the second type of thing is carbohydrate waste. The carbohydrate waste, it is readily undergoing the biodegradation, that is aerobic degradation, in presence of the soil microorganism and what is called as oxygen, and it becomes a very good manure for our garden. So that should be segregated. For that, carbohydrates are very useful. Then the third one is proteins. So the proteins, when it is decomposed, it will give a foul smell. Unpleasant odor, a fishy odor will come. That should be processed properly. That's why it should be segregated based on its property. Moving on to the last one, very important one, natural fiber. See, the food and garden waste and paper mills, all these can be recycled easily. That means, see, food and yard waste can be composted easily. Even the paper mill waste, see, some 4 to 5 times only the paper can be recycled, and when it reaches a stage where no more recycling is possible, that time we have to dump into the waste, but it will undergo the aerobic oxidation easily. That means biodegradation takes place. These things can be used as a material for the composting. Whereas this natural fiber, there are other things. These are the origin for this is a plant. Cellulose, lignin, all these are polymer substances, will not undergo biodegradation, and that is why it can be sent to the incinerator for the energy production. So that's the reason the chemical characteristics are very, very important to segregate them into different things, and later it can be transported to the particular locality. What can be done later stage, for that purpose we can send it, like lipids we can send it to the energy technologies, carbohydrates for composting, and protein simply burning, and natural fiber, again it should be segregated as biodegradable and non-biodegradable. Biodegradable means composting, and non-biodegradable means again it is energy technologies, that is incineration process. And what are the common problems occur because of the solid waste? See, the solid waste character should be learned and it should be segregated properly. After segregation, the processing has to be done. If not processed, not segregated, simply wet waste, dry waste together, it is dumped and it is thrown or carried to the outskirt of the city and it is dumped in the dumping site, then certain problems occurs. What are those problems? Means the first one is a groundwater contamination. How the groundwater is getting contaminated means it's because of certain heavy metals which are present in the waste. For example, say the batteries, a mobile battery or laptop battery or a single usage battery like a primary batteries. After a long usage, after its death, it will be thrown into the waste means. So finally, it will reach the landfill sites. So there, these batteries are consisting of dangerous chemicals like lead will be there, cadmium will be there, and nickel will be there, and sometimes chromium will be there. All such type of metals, when it is leached into the soil or leached into the underground water, such water when you are consuming, then it will affect the human health. So second thing is production of landfill gases. So varieties of waste substances will be present in a solid waste, and some of the things which can undergo oxidation, after the oxidation either aerobic or anaerobic oxidation, it will produce a gases like sulfur dioxide, a gas like H2S, a gas like carbon monoxide. All these are partial this thing. And third one is a methane gas. Anaerobic oxidation taking place means methane gas, carbon monoxide, and then other things like sulfur dioxide, and then NH3. All these will be produced, and they impart a bad odor to the surrounding environment. Landfill gases will have a bad odor. And the next one is a landfill fire. When the landfill fire occur means one of the gas formed here, production of landfill gases, one of the gas formed here is a methane. It cannot, if it is methane and carbon monoxide together, it is called as a biogas. That in the scientific landfilling, we can collect that and you can use it as a energy source. If you are not taking care of this, when these gases continuously produce, when it comes in contact with the fire, so then immediately a landfill fire occurs, and that's a very difficult problem, and it is also going to burn the surrounding areas. And offensive odors, these offensive odors, as I said here, anaerobic oxidation will release certain gases that will give a bad odor to the surrounding. Litter means a huge volume of the solid mass. Pest, so this pest means, so the waste present here is varieties of waste, like a food waste will be there, yard waste will be there, meat will be there, egg will be there, like that varieties of waste will be there. So that waste attracts the seagulls, flies, vermins. So this is another problem. So these are the problems. If we want to overcome this problem means we have to manage the solid waste properly, and we have to avoid its bad impact on the environment, on the mankind. So control of the solid waste. So the first step to control the solid waste means minimize the solid waste. So in the present day scenario, I have told that per head nearly 200 to 600 gram of waste will be generated from each house means. So as much as possible, we have to reduce the amount of the waste from the ground level itself. That means from the grassroots itself, we have to reduce or minimize the solid waste generation step only. We have to have a control. And next one is minimize the packaging, transporting the materials from one place to another. So we will be using many packaging materials, such things should be avoided. And whichever substances which can be recycled, like paper, plastic, metal, glass, wood, all these, instead of simply carrying it to the dumping site, it can be recycled, once again reused, and materials like textile, leather, rubber, metal, wood, it can be reused once again instead of throwing into the garbage and dumping it to the dumping site. So, and we can start reusing, therefore, the volume of the solid waste will be decreased. And certain substances can be used as a composting materials like food waste and vegetable waste and fruit waste and yard trimmings. All these can be composted and a very good manure can be obtained from this, so that we can have a control over the problem caused by the solid waste. So this is the olden days technology of landfill, disposal of the waste to the landfill. Say some 10 to 15 years ago, earlier, simply the waste was collected from the each place and dumped in the outskirt of the city. So that was done, and later its bad impact on the environment and the health of the people who were living in that places were noticed. That's why now compulsorily the license should be taken from the government and permission should be taken from the government, like pollution control board should give a green signal for landfill site. Any place cannot be chosen as a landfill site, so preferably they will check the quality of the air, water, soil at the present state, and also they will examine, they will anticipate what would be the state of the air, water, and soil after dumping these waste in such places. Only to such places they will give a license. That means it should not have a bad impact on the surrounding environment after throwing the waste in places that they are called as a landfill sites. So preferably it will be out of the cities, very far away from the cities is considered as a landfill sites. So in according to the syllabus, we have to study only the scientific landfilling. So this is the modern landfill or a scientific landfill. It is the land is dug to a very low beneath the earth, and a plastic covering will be there, and then there will be a provision for the leachate collection system. Leachate means when these waste is oxidizing, that time water will be formed. That whatever liquid generates here, that should be collected at a bottom. This is called as a modern landfill. The working, how exactly it is functioning means every day after segregation, processing, all the things. So there are certain substances which cannot be recycled, which cannot be reused, and it cannot be used for the energy technologies, and it cannot be sent to the incinerator. Such waste, the minimal waste, can be carried to this landfill site and it will be dumped here. So 3 meter of the waste will be dumped. Over that 0.3 meter of a clay or a soil will be added. Again another 3 meter of the solid waste is dumped. 0.3 meter of the clay or soil is added. Layer by layer continuously it will be added. So there will be the laborers working in these landfill areas. They will take care of all these things. So during this time what happens is, so it will undergo the oxidation. I told that anaerobic oxidation, because here availability of oxygen is very less. So carbon monoxide and methane gas will be produced. The the carbon monoxide and methane gas together it is a 80-20 ratio. It is called as a energy, that is called as a gobar gas, that can be used as a energy for other applications. At the same time, some of the waste will be collected, a liquid waste will be collected at a bottom, because during this decay process, that is called as a leachate. This leachate should be pulled out of the surface and it should be processed. If you are not doing so, this will be penetrating through the soil into the underground water, then it will contaminate the underground water. To avoid that, it should be pulled out and it should be processed by a proper channel, so that the problems of these solid waste can be avoided. And here is a well to monitor the groundwater. This is a well to monitor the groundwater. So this is how the modern landfill or a scientific landfill is functioning. So in the exam this question can be asked. So if they're asking, you have to write this diagram and explain whatever I have told. So explanation is given in the next slide. Same thing, I have finished it here. Yeah. So on the previous slide we discussed the remedy for the solid waste. How to manage the solid waste means we have to minimize the volume of the waste that we are generating at the homes. That is the first thing. Second one is packaging material should be minimized, and third thing is recycling, and fourth one is reusing, and next one is a composting. What type of materials can be composted means vegetable waste, fruit waste, paper, towel, coffee grounds, tea bag, eggshells. So all these are generated at home. Instead of throwing into the dustbin, we have to collect this separately and then it should be processed. So the composting is a natural biological process carried out under controlled aerobic condition. This process requires various microorganisms like bacteria and fungi to break down organic matter into simpler substances. That means along a layer of the waste, above that one layer of the soil, layer of the waste, layer of the soil. If you do like this, the soil will have a microorganisms like bacteria, fungi, and air or oxygen will be there. It will bring about the aerobic oxidation, and finally it will become a black color powder, nothing but a manure or a fertilizer for our plants. See, this becomes the composting becomes effective only when it favors certain environmental conditions are maintained. What are the environmental conditions required for this composting means like sufficient oxygen should be there, ambient temperature should be there, moisture content should be there, and material disturbance and organic matter and size and activity of the microbial population. So these are the conditions should be maintained for the composting. Then it can give a very good manure or a fertilizer for our garden. And there are some substances which cannot be added to this compost pit. So what are those materials? Means meat cannot be used, dairy product cannot be used, plate scraps, all these type of things, and materials such as recycling materials, other waste cannot be added to the compost pit. So only which can undergo biodegradation that can be added to the compost pit. Later we will get a substance like this having a very high content of humus. It becomes a very good fertilizer having 100 million bacteria and 800 feet of fungal threads. So it is called as a compost process, and this is called as a fertilizer or a manure for the garden. So that's about the solid waste management. So I'll stop now. We'll continue in the next class.